Let your heart stay open, your breath steady, and as we receive today's message, sexuality as worship. Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you, my love. All right. Hey, y'all. As we say here in Texas, welcome home. Welcome home. Today, we turn inward to honor one of the most sacred fires within us, the fire of life itself. Let us open the temple not somewhere out there, but right here in our bodies. Let us begin with prayer. Beloved source of life, breath of creation, fire of love, we invite you to dwell fully in our bodies today. Sanctify our eyes, our touch, our desire, and our union. May this temple be free of shame, distortion, and fear. And may we remember you are already here, breathing in our very cells. Om Namah Shivaya. Take a hand over your heart, your right hand over your heart, your left hand onto your belly. And let's take 3 breaths together. Deep breath in, release. Deep breath in and release. One more. Deep breath in and release. Feel this breath as the beloved breathing you. This body, this heartbeat, this warmth is the same life force that moves galaxies. You are not separate from the holy. You are its expression. Beloved family, today's theme, Sexuality as Worship, invites us into territory many avoid, the merging of spirit and flesh, devotion and desire. For too long, religion told us that spirit and body were enemies, but Tantra says the body is the path. Kundalini, the sacred current, is not dirty or dangerous. She is the goddess herself. When we suppress her, we suppress our power, and when we honor her, we awaken as living temples. So take a deep breath. Feel the ground beneath you. You are not a sinner, and you are not broken. You are an instrument of divine energy learning to play its own song. So say this aloud with me. My body is holy. My desire is sacred. My love is prayer. From childhood, most of us absorb 2 distorted stories about sexuality. One, that it's dirty and must be hidden, or 2, that it's casual without consequence or meaning. Both stories disconnect us from our power. Both create separation between the body and spirit. And when that separation grows wide enough, pain enters. This is how the sacred fire becomes distorted, when the world forgets its holiness. Out of this forgetting arises the shadows we all know way too well: abuse, exploitation, objectification, pornography, performance, addiction, and numbness, and the deep grief of those whose boundaries were violated by someone who never learned what sacred touch truly is. I grew up in the Deep South in a religious church that did not talk about sex, or if it was talked about, it was sin. And gay sex, especially, was, you were definitely going to hell if you were having gay sex. So, none of that was really talked about. And there was no sex positive talk in my family at all. In fact, no talk about sex at all. No one even told us, like, if somebody touches you there, you need to come tell mommy. So I was abused by my stepfather at age 5, at age 9, a babysitter, at age 11, a female babysitter, at age 13, an older man, and in college I was raped. And for many, many years after that, I prostituted myself for drugs. I had a very warped view of sex, being highly traumatized in my childhood, but also told, right? You're really good at that, right? And so I thought, well, God, if I'm really good at this and people want me for this, right? And this is coming from a kid who all he wanted to do was to be loved, right? And didn't get that so much from the men in my life growing up. So I sought that sexually. I sought that outside of myself for so many years. I had no idea what sex positivity or sacred sexuality was until I came into recovery at age 32. And I'm still learning. I'm still learning. And most of us here in America, I mean, I've seen thousands of clients over the years in my psychotherapy practice. And with every client, I do a very detailed sexual history. Most of my clients, I would say 95% of those clients grew up in a sex negative home. That's big because what does that mean? That means shame. That means we grow up with shame and we venture into pornography, addiction, objectification, and all of that jazz, right? So many hearts have been wounded by unawakened desire. So many bodies have been used instead of revered. And so many souls have been taught to associate pleasure with danger, love with control. But family, none of this is a truth of who you are. These are distortions, they're not definitions. They are symptoms of a world that has forgotten reverence. The Bhairava Tantra reminds us, wherever the mind delights, there the heart may worship. When awareness returns to desire, healing begins. And when presence fills the body again, innocence is restored. So the goal is not to escape desire, it's to consecrate it. It's to reclaim the fire from distortion and to offer it once more upon the altar of the divine. So close your eyes with me for a moment and let your awareness travel through your body. When you think of your sexuality, what arises first? Shame, neutrality, or sacredness? Do you view your body as a problem, a tool, or a temple? What parts of your sensual self have you hidden for fear of rejection? And beloveds, before we move forward, I want to speak something sacred and tender. For many in our community, sexuality has not felt like worship. It has been confusing, painful, and even traumatic. Some of us, like myself, have known the weight of being touched without consent, of being used instead of loved, of mistaking attention for affection, or of carrying shame for something that was never our fault. To those who have known abuse, assault, or exploitation, hear this clearly. You did not cause it, and you did not deserve it, and it did not take away your holiness. Your body is still sacred, and your soul is still radiant, and your light is still whole. Healing takes time, and it's okay to take that time. You don't have to rush toward forgiveness or pleasure. The spiritual path, it's not about bypassing pain, it's about walking with presence through it. So if you are in a season of healing, know that you are not alone. This community, our community, and the wider body of healers, counselors, and guides connected to Merkaba Temple exists to hold safe space for that journey. So reach out if you need prayer, support, or spiritual companionship. You can text me and Aeon on WhatsApp. The link can be found at the bottom of archershaw.guru. Just click the little WhatsApp button and you will be texting us. And we would love to talk to you today. Let the light of this community meet you where you are. And remember this truth from the Guru. No wound can destroy what God made whole. So take a breath now, hand to your heart, and whisper softly to yourself, I am safe, I am sacred, I am home. And so we breathe knowing that even what was once wounded can become wholly again. The same body that has known this pain can also know presence. The same energy that has been misused can be reclaimed as pure devotion. Beloveds, if the body is a temple, and it is, then our sexuality is not outside its walls. It is the inner sanctum, the place where spirit meets matter and love becomes form. Guru Muktananda said, when Kundalini awakens, the entire body becomes an instrument of worship. Every breath is mantra. Every pulse is God whispering, I am here. We are not called to transcend the body. We are called to inhabit it consciously. But look at how the world has taught us to treat our temple. We starve it, we numb it, we criticize it, we sell it, we compare it, and we overwork it. We measure its worth by filters and followers instead of by the light it carries. We use our bodies to chase validation rather than revelation. We touch without presence. We scroll through strangers as if their flesh were disposable. We perform pleasure instead of feeling it. We treat other people's bodies as entertainment or escape, forgetting that every body we look at or lie beside is the very dwelling place of the divine. And yet, even through all of this forgetfulness, the temple has not closed its doors. Spirit still lives here, patiently waiting for us to remember. To remember that the same skin we have shamed is the fabric of the stars. To remember that our bones are altars, our breath is prayer, and our heartbeat, boom, boom, is the drum of creation. Our task is to bring devotion into the flesh. It's to feel the sacred in the sweat, in breath, in the tremble of aliveness. To reclaim our bodies, not as objects, but as oracles, not as tools for approval, but as vessels of awareness. So take a breath and let your awareness travel gently through your body. How often do you pause to truly feel your body? Its pleasure, its pain, its aliveness? And when in intimacy, are you present? Are you performing? Or are you disconnected? And where do you override your body's signals, pushing it when it says stop, staying silent when it says speak? What sensations or emotions have you exiled because they felt too much? Now place your hand where your body longs to be welcomed home. Breathe there and whisper softly, you belong. You belong. When sexuality is worship, everything changes. Union is no longer about validation or escape. It becomes a mirror of God's own ecstasy. But look at how we've been conditioned to approach it. We swipe, we scroll, and we seduce without soul. We rush through the act, chasing climax instead of communion. We use intimacy to prove our worth or to numb our loneliness. We confuse attention with affection and performance with presence. We let screens teach us about bodies that have never known our name. In a world of hurry and hunger, it takes courage to slow down enough to feel, to pause before a kiss and breathe, to ask, are you here with me? And to treat every body, including your own, as holy ground. Real world sacred sexuality looks like this. It looks like consent that is clear and enthusiastic. It looks like communication that honors yes and honors no. It looks like lovers who take time to breathe together before they touch. It looks like self-pleasure that begins with gratitude instead of guilt. It looks like eyes meeting eyes, breath meeting breath, until what is personal dissolves into what is eternal. The mystics of every lineage knew this truth. Rumi said, "What was said to the rose that made it open was said to me here in my chest." In the Song of Songs, "Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is better than wine." And Saint Teresa of Avila said, "The pain was so sweet that I never wished it to cease." Each was describing the same revelation, that through the meeting of hearts, bodies, and souls, the beloved experiences itself in form. Sacred sexuality, it's not about technique or perfection, it's about presence. It is the art of slowing down enough to feel the divine moving through your desire. The shift from seeking pleasure to becoming pleasure embodied, right? Becoming pleasure embodied. From grasping for love to realizing I am love. When sexuality is transfigured, the bed becomes an altar, the breath becomes incense, and the act itself becomes the hymn of creation. So, how do you relate to union? Once again, close your eyes for a moment and let these questions move through your awareness. Do I seek sexuality? Do I use sexuality to seek approval or to feel connection? Do I deny or suppress sexual energy for fear of losing control? When I'm intimate, do I feel separation, connection, or openness afterward? And can I imagine sexual energy as divine energy, the same life force that animates creation? Breathe deeply, inhaling through your heart, exhaling through your root chakra, feeling heaven and earth meeting inside of you. So, Tantra, it's not something exotic and it's not something secret. It is the art of remembering that everything is God, and therefore everything can become worship. Breath, touch, sound, sight, and silence. Sacred sexuality begins long before the bedroom. It begins in how you speak, how you listen, how you tend your own energy, and how you regard the body of another as a living presence of the divine. Every moment of conscious intimacy is an invitation to practice awareness. It's not about how much you know, but how deeply you can be here now. So here are 4 tantric principles to anchor the practice. Number 1, intention. May this be holy. Before intimacy, pause. Take a breath together and set an intention. May this be an act of love. May this be for healing. May this be sacred. Whether it's self-touch, the meeting of lovers, or simply the way you hug a friend, intention transforms energy into devotion. Without intention, touch can stay mechanical, but with intention, even a glance becomes prayer. Intention. 2, presence. Stay with the breath. Presence it's what separates sacred sexuality from performance. When you're present, you can feel subtle energy, your own, your partner or partners, the field around you. You listen with your hands, your breath, and your whole body. So real world presence looks like this: phones away, porn away, no rush, right? Breathing in sync, asking, are you here with me? And meaning it, are you here? Are we here together? If one person drifts away, pause, breathe again, and come back, because presence is the pleasure. Number 3, devotion. Touch as prayer. When awareness fills our bodies, even the simplest gesture becomes a divine. Devotion is not about losing yourself in another, it's about seeing the beloved in them. It's the difference between using and adoring, between taking and giving, between performance and communion. To approach another's body or your own with devotion is to silently whisper, I see you as sacred. I will not rush the holy. And number 4, union. Let pleasure open into stillness. In the tantric view, orgasm is not the goal, awareness is. When both or all partners are present and open, pleasure becomes a doorway and not a finish line. As energy arises, don't push it away and don't cling to it. Breathe it up the spine to the heart and the crown. Let the body tremble, release, and dissolve. When pleasure becomes presence, the two or more dissolve into the field of one. This is the true meaning of union, not possession, but communion. The Lalita Sahasranama calls the goddess Ananda Vigraha the very form of bliss. Through conscious love, we worship her in the only way she can be worshipped, by feeling fully, living wholly, and honoring truthfully. Sacred sexuality isn't just what happens in moments of passion. It's how you inhabit your entire life. It's how you speak. It's how you move. It's how you breathe. It's how you touch the world. It is the integration of heaven and earth within your own body, the remembering that you are the bridge. So how do we apply these practices? Think about this. When was the last time I entered intimacy with a sacred intention? What practices help me to stay present? Breath, mantra, gaze, silence, mindfulness? Where do I rush through pleasure instead of surrendering to it? How might I bring this awareness into all forms of touch? With myself, with a partner, with a friend, or with creation? So place your hand once again on your heart. Take one full, slow breath and whisper softly, Beloved, make of my body your altar. Make of my love your song. Make of my body your altar, and make of my love your song. Family, I share this not as a saint, but as a student, as one who has walked both sides of this path. There was a time I separated sexuality from spirit. I kept it hidden, a secret desire on one side and a spiritual life on the other. I was afraid of my own power, and I carried a lot of shame I didn't even know I had. Much of it was not even mine to carry. When I felt desire, I tried to manage it, to tame it, or to outsmart it, because somewhere deep inside, I had learned it was dangerous. And I know I'm not alone in that. For many of us, men, women, non-binary, queer, straight, we were taught that to be holy, we had to deny our bodies, or that to be sexual, we had to disconnect from the soul. Either way, we learned to divide what was never meant to be separated. I remember the moment that began to change. It wasn't in a temple, and it wasn't in an ashram. It was in the quiet of a real embrace. Two bodies breathing together, two souls recognizing the same light, and I realized this too is God. The warmth, the pulse, the presence, it was all the same holiness I had tasted in meditation. There was no line between sacred and sensual. There never had been. Since that moment, everything has shifted. In my sacred union with Aeon, intimacy is no longer performance or escape, it is devotion. Our bodies have become instruments of prayer. Our lovemaking has become liturgy. Our touch heals what religion and culture tried to divide. And it's not just for lovers. This realization belongs to all of us because the moment that you reclaim your body as temple, you become part of the healing for the whole world. Every time a man touches with tenderness instead of conquest, the old patriarchy loses power. Every time a woman says yes from wholeness or no from sovereignty, a wound in the collective begins to close. Every time a trans person or a queer body stands in full authenticity, heaven itself expands to make room for more light. We are the generation remembering that love is not meant to dominate or to disappear. It is meant to embody God, to look into the eyes of another and say, I see the divine in you, and I see the divine in me. When we touch this way, we are not just making love, we are making wholeness. We are weaving the world back together. So I stand before you not as one who has arrived, but as one who continues to learn how to honor the fire without fear, how to embody devotion without denial, and how to live every breath as worship. Because when we do, the separation dissolves, and we discover that God was never far away. God was here all along in the pulse of our own aliveness. So this week, I invite you to take these teachings out of the temple and into your life, not as concept, but as a daily practice of remembrance. We have spoken today of sacred fire, sacred union, and sacred embodiment. Now we bring it home into the real, messy, beautiful moments of being human. So, if you're single, honor your body as an altar. Treat your solitude as sacred space. When you touch yourself, whether in self-care, self-pleasure, or prayer, do it with reverence, not rush. Light a candle, breathe, speak blessings over your skin. Anoint yourself with beautiful oils. And remember, self-love is not indulgence, it's initiation. You are not waiting for someone to make you holy. You already are. And if you're partnered, approach intimacy as ceremony. Before you begin, look into each other's eyes and set an intention. This is holy. This is healing. This is worship. And move slowly, listening for the energy moving between you, asking for what you need, speaking truth with tenderness, and when you touch, do it not to take, but to offer. Let your union be a prayer for the world, a reminder that love can still be sacred in a distracted age. And if you are healing from trauma or heartbreak, go gently. Go gently. Your worth was never lost. The temple was never destroyed. It only needed the light to be turned back on. So allow yourself time to rebuild trust within your own body. Let your boundaries be holy. Let safety be the soil in which pleasure can bloom again. You do not have to rush into union. You are already in union with the divine. And for those of you that are in service or leadership, model sacred embodiment in your speech, your boundaries, and your presence. Refuse the old power dynamics of domination and secrecy, and let integrity be your devotion. Let transparency be your Tantra, and be the living example that holiness and wholeness are the same thing. So for all of us, let's reclaim our sexuality as a force of creation, not consumption. Let's make every act of love, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, a hymn of gratitude. Let's bring consciousness to how we look at others, how we speak of them, how we speak to ourselves. Let's become living reminders that God is not watching from above. God is experiencing life through us. When you wake tomorrow, take one breath before your feet touch the ground and whisper, my body is a temple, and my breath is worship. Carry that awareness into everything you do. If you'd like to explore this more deeply, we've created a reflection called What Archetype of Sacred Sexuality Are You? It's a short quiz at archershaw.guru/sacred sex quiz. It's in the chat if you want to click the link to help you see which aspect of your divine nature is awakening: the healer, the explorer, the devotee, or the sovereign. Take it as a devotional mirror, not a test, okay? It's a way to reflect on how spirit is moving through your embodiment right now. And bring what you discover into your prayer, your journaling, and your relationships this week. Let it guide you toward balance, healing, and joy. Beloveds, nothing in you is separate from God. Your breath is sacred. Your desire is sacred. Your love is sacred. And when you walk in that remembrance, the entire world becomes your temple. Let us close in prayer. Beloved flame of creation, infinite presence moving through breath, body, and being, we thank you. Thank you for the remembrance that this flesh is not a sin to escape, but a sanctuary to inhabit, that our desire is not something to conquer, but a current of love returning home to its source. Today we have remembered the simple sacred truth that you are not far away. You are the warmth in our hands, the pulse in our veins, and the light behind our eyes. May every being who heard these words remember that their body is holy, their pleasure innocent, and their heart vast enough to hold the universe. May we walk in the world as living temples, seeing God in every face, touching with reverence, speaking with truth, and creating with joy. May our sexuality be devotion, our devotion, embodiment, and our embodiment be liberation. We bless the Mother, Shakti, the radiant power of life. We bless the Father, Shiva, pure consciousness and peace. We bless the union of both within us, the eternal dance of love that never ends. As we go forth from this temple, may our every breath be worship, our every step be prayer, and our every act be remembrance. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Guru Om, Om Shakti Om, Amen, Aho, Ashe. And so it is. And now, family, let's